because the Fever were right there with the Liberty, then lost to the Sun. They did have some injuries in that game as well. And then the Liberty just smack the Sun. But to see that, the Fever up there with the Liberty with CC, including on net rating on the season, and then see the contrast. I know it's just a one game or so, couple game or so sample size. Nonetheless, it has an effect. Regardless, when you look at the Liberty in this huge game against the Sun, there are a couple moments that stood out. I talked about Johannes.
The New York Liberty possess an incredibly talented roster, making their championship defense appear almost unstoppable after acquiring Marine Johannes, the skilled one-legged shooter. Similar to how Leona Fibic strengthened their foundation last season, Johannes brings exceptional versatility, capable of scoring from distance while providing energy off the bench. The team's depth continues with John Cole Jones, whose outside shooting combined with interior presence makes her arguably their most underrated contributor, alongside superstars Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. This collection of talent positions the Liberty as clear favorites for back-to-back titles.
And Jones, they had a connection on this play, which was nice to see, or just looked nice, I guess. Nice dime, nice dish by the Wizard. Nobody beats the Wiz, if anybody remembers that. And John Cole Jones, a big target there, just a heck of an all-around player. Then there was a moment late in the game that was kind of amusing, where Sabrina Ionescu wanted a challenge, even though they were up by, it looks like 46 points at this point in time. So not generally a time where you would challenge. I don't even know what she's doing on the floor, to be honest with you. I mean, it's the third quarter here.
Their early season dominance carries multiple implications, particularly highlighting Caitlin Clark's significance to the Indiana Fever. When the Fever competed closely with New York before falling to Connecticut, while the Liberty demolished that same Sun squad, the contrast became evident. Despite Indiana suffering injuries during their Connecticut matchup, the disparity in results showcased Clark's individual impact on team performance. The Fever's competitive standing alongside New York when Clark plays, including comparable net ratings, demonstrates her transformative effect. This becomes more apparent when comparing Indiana's results with Clark versus without her, whether against elite opponents like New York and Atlanta, or struggling teams like Connecticut and Washington. During the Liberty's dominant victory over Connecticut, several noteworthy moments emerged. Johannes connected beautifully with Jones on multiple occasions, displaying their developing chemistry. The veteran guard's court vision created easy scoring opportunities for the versatile forward, highlighting their complementary skills.
But there she goes. She's happy about the call getting challenged. And then I guess it was successfully overturned. Can't say I was watching the game that closely at this juncture. But here was the Sabrina celebrating the call getting overturned. Those videos courtesy of Lucas Kaplan and Jeff Magaletti. So there you have it. Sabrina, happy, thrilled, and she's been acting brand new this year, coming off a championship. She made that SGA joke the other day, but
an amusing incident occurred late in the game when Ionescu requested a coach's challenge despite holding a massive 46-point advantage. Her presence on the court during such a lopsided third quarter seemed unnecessary, yet she enthusiastically celebrated when officials overturned the original call. This behavior reflects the confidence and swagger the defending champions have adopted this season, including her recent social media references and overall demeanor. The Liberty's perfect record to start the season reinforces their championship aspiration. Their primary competition appears to be the Las Vegas Aces, whom they defeated in last year's finals. The Atlanta Dream has surprisingly emerged as another top-tier contender, while Indiana with Clark also deserves consideration among the league's elite quartet. Clark's presence elevates the Fever significantly, as evidenced by their varying performance levels with and without her. The difference becomes stark when examining their competitiveness against quality opposition like New York and Atlanta compared to their struggles against teams like Connecticut and Washington during her absence.
They're talking about it to try put pressure on the WNBA, because the WNBA have, as far as I'm aware, give permission for an emergency hardship. But as far as I'm aware, Sophie Cunningham and Sid Colson have to be officially out, and as of right now, they're game time decisions. So it is a hardship contract player by the looks of things until Caitlin Clark comes back from her actual injury, because you can't
The Liberty's impressive start extends beyond on-court success. They're building something special at Barclays Center, developing a devoted fan base and creating an atmosphere that enhances their championship culture. This combination of talent, confidence, and growing support base positions them perfectly for another title run. Their roster construction demonstrates excellent management, strategically adding pieces like Fibic and Johannes to complement their established core. This approach, while completely legitimate, creates an almost unfair advantage as they pursue consecutive championships. The team's net rating alongside other advanced metrics supports their status as title favorites. Their ability to dominate quality opponents while maintaining consistency across different game situations separates them from other contenders.
When a player is not officially injured, I don't think you can bring in a hardship contract. And as of right now, you just don't know what is happening. But anyway, this was, 27 minutes ago when Chloe Peterson posted this? Yeah, 27 minutes. So let's see what Kelly Krauskopf has had to say.
We're down in numbers, but we're looking at adding another player for a replacement player to help us with our numbers.
Brooklyn's emerging basketball culture, combined with the Liberty's on-court excellence, creates momentum that extends far beyond individual games. This synergy between team performance and fan engagement establishes a foundation for sustained success. The early season narrative surrounding both New York's dominance and Clark's individual impact will likely continue throughout the campaign. These storylines intersect meaningfully as the Liberty's excellence provides context for appreciating exceptional individual contributions elsewhere in the league. Whether examining roster depth, strategic acquisitions, or cultural development, the Liberty appear positioned for another championship celebration. Their comprehensive approach to building a winning organization, from player personnel to fan engagement, creates multiple pathways to continued success.
Try to get people healthy and try to get a full roster back together. I mean, games are still coming, so it's going to be an adjustment, but we have a good group, we have good depth, thankfully, so that should help us.
Yeah. Are you hoping to have that player before?
Did she just say good depth? Did she just say good depth? As of right now, there are 7 healthy players, and you don't play 2 of them. As of right now, whoever comes in a hardship is going to start.
Recent video clips from Indiana Fever training sessions show Kelly Krauskopf addressing media representatives regarding potential roster additions through emergency signing protocols. The discussion centers around acquiring players via hardship agreements, though approval mechanisms remain uncertain. Current regulations require official injury designations before emergency contracts can be activated. Sophie Cunningham and Sid Colson maintain questionable status for upcoming contests, creating complications for roster expansion requests. The league's authorization process demands confirmed medical reports rather than preliminary assessments. Caitlin Clark's absence due to verified injury creates additional roster management challenges. Standard protocol prevents Rooney signings when player availability remains undetermined, leaving the organization in limbo regarding personnel decisions.
I repeat, whoever oh, no, they're not. They're going to play 5. I was about to say they're going to start, no, they're going to start Bonner, Hull. They're going to start Kelsey Mitchell to the point. Whoever's in should start. Not is going to, but should start. Because, let's be real, Kelsey Mitchell, a point guard, is not going to work out well.
Tuesday's game?
We're hoping, yeah.
All right.
Have you ever been through any circumstances this early into the season and such, where you're battling 3-4 down? Like, how unique is it?
Remember, I don't.
During the press conference, Krauskopf acknowledged current numerical limitations while expressing optimism about potential additions. Our numbers are reduced currently, however, we're exploring options to add another individual as a replacement to address our numerical situation and assist with player recovery while rebuilding our complete roster, she stated. The timeline for new acquisitions remains focused on Tuesday's scheduled contest, though uncertainty persists regarding finalization. When questioned about roster depth, management expressed confidence despite having only 7 available players, with 2 receiving limited playing time. The situation represents unprecedented challenges early in the campaign, with 3 to 4 players unavailable simultaneously. Krauskopf noted the unique nature of smaller roster sizes in women's professional basketball, where losing multiple players creates immediate operational difficulties. Regarding player evaluation criteria, the organization prioritizes individuals who can contribute immediately rather than developmental prospects. The circumstances demand proven performers capable of handling significant responsibilities.
Probably, but I mean, because, the WNBA, the roster sizes are so much smaller. So when you get down to, you the 11-player roster and you lose 3 players like that, now you've got to add.
I mean, it is
Head coach Stephanie White addressed media questions about selection priorities for potential hardship signings. Her focus remains on securing the most qualified available talent at needed positions, emphasizing two-way contributions on offense and defense. Our priority involves finding the most capable available individual at required positions who can provide value on both sides of the court. We particularly need someone who can contribute defensively while also helping us initiate offensive sets and handle ball distribution, White explained. The coaching staff recognizes that limited guard availability forces players into unfamiliar roles requiring roster additions who can restore positional balance. However, White acknowledged that complete control over available options remains impossible.
it just does not look great. It does not look great, and I would assume maybe is Dantas one of their 3 players. And if again, I don't think they're going to be able to get a player to replace Coulson, because it looks like Sid Coulson's fine. Thankfully, it looks like Coulson's fine. I can't believe that is a sentence that's come out of my mouth, that thankfully Sid Coulson's fine, because we're going to need 30 minutes out of her. It looks like she's fine. Because if she had any actual knee damage, she's not going to be doing what she was doing in practice. However,
current roster limitations have created significant operational challenges. With Damaris Dantas appearing unable to participate fully in practice sessions, the available player count continues declining. Coulson's status remains encouraging, as practice footage suggests no serious knee complications. The organization faces difficult decisions regarding potential signings. Kennedy Carter emerges as a preferred option among available candidates, representing the type of experienced player needed for immediate impact. Alternative options like Serena Sundell present developmental potential but may not address current championship aspirations. The timing of these decisions reflects organizational priorities. Rather than focusing on long-term development, current circumstances demand players capable of contributing to championship pursuits. Developmental signings could be pursued during off-season periods when roster construction allows for patient player growth.
oh, it's getting bad.
A quick player to the roster. So, it's something that you just deal with being in this league, with the roster sizes being a little bit smaller, and that's why you try to build for depth.
This may be another perfect example of where the W, if they could get to where they had, like the NBA has 2 ways, but maybe home player development roles, and they could be available in times like this. Would that be ideal?
I mean, just more bodies would be good.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Practice footage reveals concerning elements about current roster health. Multiple players appear to be managing various physical limitations, creating additional uncertainty about game availability. The visual evidence suggests Dantas may be dealing with undisclosed injury concerns. Sophie Cunningham's absence from facility activities raises questions about her immediate availability. The combination of missing players and limited practice participation creates challenging preparation scenarios for upcoming contests. Shooting performance during observed practice sessions showed inconsistent results, with players experiencing difficulty maintaining rhythm due to limited repetitions and modified rotations. These preparation challenges compound the difficulties created by roster limitations.
So yeah, that is what she has said. Kennedy Carter, you're a fever. I would love if they brought Kennedy Carter, because if they want to win this game, the only player that I think that they could bring in that could win the game is Kennedy Carter. If I'm being honest, the only way I think they win this game is if they bring in Kennedy Carter. And Serena Sundell is not good enough. Anyone who's saying Serena Sundell, and by the way, I was so high on her pre-draft. If this was an NBA scenario where this was a young team, if this was last year, I'd be fine with them signing Serena Sundell. Because last year it was clear, 6th seed, they were trying to make the playoffs. They, to an extent, overperformed at times.
The uncertainty surrounding player availability creates complications. Sophie Cunningham and Sydney Coulson currently hold game time decision status. Brenda Hettar remains an unknown factor in these discussions. Christy Wallace also appears on the injury report. The game time designation for both Cunningham and Coulson suggests the organization won't pursue additional signings. Game time decisions prevent teams from taking immediate roster action. The Wednesday contest timing adds urgency to these decisions. The mobile application tracking these designations appears reliable for monitoring player status. Other questionable players across the league face similar uncertainty, with teams like the Lynx also dealing with comparable situations. Players maintaining questionable status cannot trigger hardship contract procedures until their designation changes to officially out. The Fever cannot approach league officials requesting hardship additions while players remain listed as game-time decisions. 3-week absence requirements for official hardship contracts demand quick resolution and league approval rather than team determination.
They were a dangerous team in the playoffs. This season, it is championship or bust. They're old. And there's no point bringing in through a developmental player. And you might be saying, oh, but like, keep her, get her for next year. It's like, then you can get her in the summer. Then you can get her in the summer. If you really want Sabrina Ionescu, get her in the summer. This is not like, as of like this moment right now, is probably not the time to get her.
Emergency hardship contracts present additional challenges, with league officials maintaining decision-making authority over these agreements. The organization must wait for official status changes before pursuing roster additions. Sophie Cunningham's ankle injuries haven't appeared severe upon video review. Neither incident seemed particularly damaging, though she missed games at season start before returning for the Atlanta contest. That Atlanta performance represented her strongest regular season showing to date. The Fever faces a difficult scenario with game-time decisions preventing roster moves. While player health remains the primary concern, organizations often prefer definitive injury designations, enabling hardship signings. The team's current options appear limited to potential trades, as hardship additions seem unlikely given the uncertain injury timeline. Previous situations demonstrate the unpredictability of these circumstances. Last season's Celeste Taylor situation with Phoenix Mercury exemplifies this volatility, where a player received a call-up just 6 hours before the Mercury Fever matchup. Such late changes create additional complications for roster planning.
This isn't Stephanie White.
When you're thinking about a potential hardship player, are you valuing someone like knows the system, has been here, is it maybe best player available at that position?
I think best player available at that position who can add value on both ends of the floor. Certainly we need to have someone who can add value on the defensive end. We got to have somebody who can help us navigate and get into offense, handle the ball.
Yeah, they're not. If they sign Bree Hall or Jaylen Brown.
The organization currently occupies a challenging short-term position. However, playoff considerations offer some perspective on the broader season outlook. 2 primary championship contenders emerge as the main obstacles: the Lynx and Liberty. Should the Fever manage any sustained success, achieving a .500 record might suffice for playoff qualification. Current standings show the team at 2-4, likely becoming 2-6 before key players return. Projecting a potential 2-8 start assumes extended absences, including hypothetical 3-week recovery periods. Such a record would place them near the bottom of standings, but recovery remains mathematically possible. Previous scheduling includes multiple contests against Atlanta and 2 games versus New York. Future challenges likely include losses to Washington, Chicago, and Connecticut. While a 2-8 recovery presents difficulties, it's not unprecedented in professional basketball. The franchise possesses legitimate opportunities to reach the 6th playoff seed from such a deficit. 6th seed opponents would likely include teams like Atlanta, Phoenix, or potentially Las Vegas. The organization would favor their chances against any of these opponents in playoff
Are we in day
setting.
3? We're in the 2nd day since the injuries. And you would think that, they're going to try to hire a player. Because, again, hardship contracts don't go against the salary cap. If a player was going to be injured, they probably know by now. However, if you look at the Fever versus the Washington Mystics, I thought, okay, they need to cover people for the injuries to Sophie Cunningham. For the WNBA, the hardship rule, they need 10 active players. Otherwise, they can sign, like, an emergency hardship contract. They need permission from the WNBA to sign them. But if a player is out for more than 3 weeks, they can get a hardship contract till they come back. However, I don't know if we're going to see players out for 3 weeks, because if you guys didn't see right here,
Playoff format changes may eliminate the previous system where top seeds received consecutive home games before automatic lower seed venue shifts. This adjustment would benefit lower-seeded teams significantly. 7th or 8th seed positioning might actually increase championship probability compared to higher playoff placement. The reasoning centers on playoff format differences: first round best-of-3 series, second round best-of-5, and finals best-of-7. The organization's optimal chance against Minnesota or New York York would come in best-of-3 format rather than extended series. Current struggles might ultimately benefit long-term team development. Playoff qualification remains the primary objective, avoiding lottery positioning while maintaining competitive relevance. The ideal scenario involves playoff participation combined with lottery access, potentially securing a versatile player who complements Aaliyah Boston's skill set. The desired addition would provide defensive capabilities and athleticism alongside Boston, though immediate impact shouldn't be expected. The franchise's attractiveness should continue drawing quality free agents regardless of current struggles. This approach balances immediate competitive needs with future roster construction, offering the highest upside for sustainable success.